video. I do apologize for that, but life has happened and will continue to keep happening, and I've been actually pretty busy the past several weekends, so I hadn't really had an opportunity to do any of these videos. But I am back here today, and I hope you enjoy this video because I have some really interesting albums to talk about. Some that I've got both a few weeks ago as well as a few months ago. Some of this stuff is stuff I bought of my own desire, randomly, mind you, but of my own desire. And some of the other stuff I'm going to talk about is stuff that I did in some trades. Yes. So, where can I set this? I'll put that right there for now, yes. So up first, and already playing in the background, is a project known as Secret of the Forest and their album, Forest Mysticism. Secret of the Forest is a project of Daniel Cornejo, who is also known as Siwataka and sometimes also known as Nine. He's a very prolific and, well, I guess very motivated young man. He has had quite a few projects since like 2015, 2016 kind of time frame. And it seems like a lot of it has been really met with a lot of great success, but he's kind of jumped around between, I want to say, like black metal, death industrial, dark ambient, dungeon synth, and I want to say he also has like a grindcore band or something like that too. I mean, the guy's got a lot of projects, and crazy thing is, almost all of them, I mean, at least all the ones I've heard are just fantastic. So when he announced that this new Secret of the Forest album was being released, I was like, hey, you want to do a trade for my Deadlier Meat album? And he was delighted because he's an old school fan of Noctilucant, and well, many years ago we met. I guess it was back in 2016. He released one of my old releases on his Gray Matter Productions record label in cassette form. And then later on, also a split tape I did with a project called Hollow Hecatome. Both of the releases were very DIY, very lo-fi, but it was very cool that someone believed in my music back in those early days to actually put it out. So Secret of the Forest, then. Well, this is the second album from this project. The first one came back in 2018, if memory serves me, and it is a dungeon synth project from Daniel. The first album was a bit more lo-fi and I don't know, I guess maybe, lo-fi production, but also sort of minimal in its overall sound, I guess I would say. It was still a very good album, very immersive and very atmospheric, but it wasn't maybe as melodic as one might expect out of their dungeon synth music. And, yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a great album, but when he put up a sample of this, I was blown away. I was like, whoa, this is great stuff. So on Forest Mysticism, the listeners treated to a more melodic and highly atmospheric dungeon synth approach. There's also the inclusion of some indigenous flute because Daniel is of some Native American origins, I guess. I'm not sure exactly. I feel like he's mentioned it on his Instagram, but I just, whatever. I hadn't make a note of that before hitting record, but he's of Native American ancestry, and he has indigenous flute and percussion, and that fact alone really kind of elevates it above the simple, normal dungeon synth out there. It has a much different feel to it, with having the real instruments, I guess, and not just the synthesized stuff. There's also, and there's also something of maybe a new age kind of touch to this. I don't mean that in any derogatory bad way. I know most people have bad associations when it comes to new age music, but it definitely feels like there's some new age tendencies with this. And again, I don't mean that in any negative way. It has that feel. It feels like, yeah, I don't know. That's what I'm feeling. But, more or less, it's going to fall into that dungeon synth realm of things, while not really thematically, having the typical dungeon synth themes or, like the Mortis influence. I don't pick up on any of that, and that's not influence at all here. This is more melodic synth music, highly influenced by nature. I mean, you can tell just the great reverence he has for nature when he listens to this music, and of course the imagery and all that kind of shines through here. I mean, on the cover you can see there's sort of like a a ritual or a ritualistic site, which he clearly built in the forest. Maybe he was meditating, I don't know, but very cool anyway. So the tape comes on this green tape, and it sounds fantastic, even though I believe the tape itself is a home dub. There's the cover again, a little more clearer. Picture of Daniel. And each copy is, or there's 50 copies, mine being number 7 here. But yeah, this is fantastic stuff. Another thing I have to always note about Dungeons, I mean not always, but I feel like there's some influence from like old video games here too, which is just one of the things I love about Dungeons. It's one of the things that originally got me hooked on, like, you know, Mortis and the Burzum ambient albums and Longgraven and all that kind of stuff. You know, 20 plus years ago already. That was that feeling that it was influenced by video game music. I don't know if it is, but I always kind of pick up on that kind of thing in a lot of these releases. So anyway, this is fantastic. If you heard the first album, I think this is quite different. I mean, the first album was great, but this is more melodic, more atmospheric, more reverence for nature kind of thing going on. It's fantastic. So definitely check it out. Secret of the Forest. Alright, continuing on, we're going to talk about a relatively new project, a project that was birthed back in 2023, and 3 tapes were actually released. All very limited, anywhere from 5 to 10 copies each were only made. This is Morguefile, another one of Daniel's projects. On Morguefile, Daniel explores a more, I guess I would say, dark ambient, noise ambient, death industrial sound. Although, comparatively to some death industrial bands, it's not as noisy or as aggressive. It's I always think this sounds weird to say this, but it has that almost sort of soothing noise ambient kind of sound to it. Yeah, nothing really abrasive about it. He uses modular synthesis pieces of metal and field recordings to create the music, and I guess the bulk of it was all created live too, which is really interesting. So yeah, it's only this is the 3rd tape he released. It is files 09 through 12. I guess the project has something of, yeah, like a morgue. It has a very strong death theme, which is of course to be expected out of death industrial. I really like this. I just wish it was a little bit longer. It's only about maybe 25-30 minutes, I guess, but really good stuff. It has a very sort of has this rank stench of death across it, I guess, which is great considering the theme. Yeah, I really dug it. It's very atmospheric and it's very sort of, it sort of makes you feel a little unsettled. It makes you feel like something not too good is on the horizon, I guess, which is obviously a great feeling to invoke through death industrial or dark ambient music in general. So, yeah, these are all home dubbed, very simple affair. This is copy, I guess, 0 of 10, so that's cool. I guess I got the first copy. It's a red tape. And then the layout is very simple. Nothing on that side. Yeah, home dub stuff, very simple. Yeah, I mean, it's only 10 copies, but all just recently in February, all 3 tapes were re-released in I guess like a VHS style box on a single tape, and it's like 90 minutes of the old Morguefile's work so far. So really cool stuff. I wish I could have gotten that compilation. I wish I could have gotten the earlier tapes because I dig this, but I guess I might have to settle for digital creations this time or await a future re-release of that stuff, but I suppose that could be a very long time. But anyway, if you are into noisy ambient or dark ambient with a little more, a little more experimentation and, I guess I want to say aggressiveness, but, something not typically dark ambient or death industrial, you will definitely enjoy Morguefile. So yeah, check that one out as well. Alright, the next album I'm going to talk about was a total random find. I want to say it was back in November of last year, and I had meant to talk about it in the last video, but that video was getting too long, so I had to bypass it. Anyway, up next is the self-titled split between Pimentola and Dead Man's Hill. So both of these bands were on my radar back in the early 2000s, but I just never got around to buying any of their stuff. Both bands, I think, would fall into the martial industrial side of things, or subgenre of things, but they don't really have the same sort of themes as, say, like Der Blutarsch or, you know, those type of the more, I don't know, the ones that invoke like World War II imagery and such. You know, it doesn't have that kind of theme to it at all. In fact, it's sort of hard to really grasp the themes because the artwork's pretty limited and, you know, there's no lyrics or anything like that either. But anyway, Pimentola is a Finnish band, or Finnish solo project from a man named Olmi Salo. And it looks like the band originally started in the late 90s as a black metal band and then eventually sort of just progressed into being a synth-based project and a martial industrial project. Three songs are represented by each band, and it's about 35 minutes of music. Dead Man's Hill is a Belgium-based artist, and again a solo project, and very much martial industrial. I tend to really like both bands. They both really get my appetite wet to hear more from these bands, and it's, again, like I knew about them back in the day. I just feel like an idiot for not checking out their main albums back in the day at all, because this is really good stuff. So Pimentola has, the sort of military percussion, raspy vocals, some sort of repetitive, distorted guitar in the background and stuff like that. It's hard to really pinpoint an artist it immediately reminds me of, but I definitely dig it a lot. I really need to check out more from this project, also because I'm always very partial to Finnish bands, and Pimentola is a Finnish band. Dead Man's Hill on the other side, as I said, is a Belgium-based project from a guy named Bart. I really like his tracks a lot because they really brought me back to those early 90s In Slaughter Nados recordings, and I am a huge fan of that stuff. That's, I mean, talk about martial industrial or martial neoclassical, whatever you want to call it. That's the fucking shit, man. And that's what Dead Man's Hill really reminds me of. It has a very triumphant, very bleak, and maybe post-apocalyptic kind of feel that I think In Slaughter Nados almost effortlessly achieved on all of the records. Fantastic stuff, and just great. So, like I said, only about 35 minutes of music on this split, which sucks because I want so much more, but I'm definitely going to have to look up more and see what these guys have done over the years. Pimentola, like I said, had existed since about 1998, but it seems like after their 2007 album, which was actually released on Cold Main Industry, the project, I guess, broke up or lost inspiration because nothing came out after that. Meanwhile, Dead Man's Hill has continued to put out records over the years, so it would seem there's quite a bit out there to check out and absorb, which I definitely intend to do if I can find them cheaply. As I found this, I think this was only like $8 used, and again, you know, very random, but happy to have in my collection. Whenever I'm in a martial industrial mood, this is definitely something I can pull out, so definitely check it out. That's Pimentola and Dead Man's Hill. Alright, a few more and you can go back to your regularly scheduled YouTube programming, whatever that may be. Okay, so now we're going to talk about Gruntsplatter's latest album, Funeral Washing and Omenology. If you've been on this channel for some time, you will know that back in September, October of last year, I put together a rather elaborate documentary of Gruntsplatter's history, and Scott Candy in general. Really, all of his projects from the start up until now, I documented it, and it's pretty cool. It turned out better than I thought it was, and everyone who watched it seemed to really enjoy it. So that was cool. When I go on these projects sometimes, I get really fucking ambitious, and yeah. So anyway, at the end of the documentary, I hinted at the fact that Gruntsplatter was going to have a new album called Omenology. Here we are. This came out late last year, November, December maybe? I don't know. But it pairs up the previous album, Funeral Watching, which had been released digitally. So it's quite a bit of music to absorb here, but As it goes with Grunt Splatter, we are dealing with a project that's somewhere within the gray area, to steal a line from Scott himself. Somewhere within the gray area of dark ambient, death industrial, noise, power electronics. Call it what you will, really. It's all really quite good. What I tend to like about some of the newer Grunt Splatter stuff, or at least this album, is it seems less abrasive than the older stuff, and just again, that sort of soothing noise ambient touch to it. I don't know if hearing that will offend the creator or what, but or his fans. I don't know, but that's sort of just the vibe I get from it. There's nothing really too abrasive about this album, and I love the fact that I can sort of zone out to noisier soundscapes. Yeah. So yeah, this, I think, if you have been ever looking to get into Grunt Splatter, this could be a great album to get into, because it's definitely less challenging than, say, like the Pest Maiden or Oregon Harvest recordings from several years ago. But yeah, we're dealing with a project that is somewhere between that, that's somewhere between dark ambient, noise, and power electronics, death industrial. You can sort of pick up little elements from all those genres within this, and obviously there's a lot of crossover with those genres anyway, but yeah, great stuff, man. So yeah, two-disc set pairs it up with Funeral Watching, which came out back in 2021. Sorry, I don't know what I'm saying. Don't listen to me. I'm stupid. There's the back cover, so quite a few songs. Comes in this really nice digipack. Really like this a lot. I asked Scott to sign it, and I hope you felt like a rock star when you were signing this, Scott. Yeah. Look at the discs. See the album cover for Funeral Watching and Omenology behind that. So I guess technically the cover that's on the digipack isn't the real cover, I guess. Is that right? I don't know. We'll go with that. So yeah, this is, I guess, technically, oops, I put that in the wrong spots. This is technically a compilation, but obviously it's the only way to get the new Omenology album. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, it's great stuff. I mean, when Scott sent me all those discs last year, I was very much, I guess, a novice of Scott's music, even though I had been aware of it since like 2002 maybe, when he did the guest spot on Nothing's The Grace of Audible. That was when I first became aware of Grunt Splatter, and then shortly thereafter I heard the Oregon Harvest, and that one didn't do too much for me. Then I was kind of like, I don't think I'm ever going to check out this project again. But life has a weird way of sometimes bringing the past back to the present, and I'm glad it did, because I have become quite a big fan of Grunt Splatter, and have now several of his releases in my collection, and definitely want to, get all the other full-length albums and maybe even some other stuff. So anyway, once again, great, fantastic album from Grunt Splatter. Very atmospheric, dark, just weird, dark ambient, noisy stuff. I love it. Released on his own Cryonic Mind Records, so definitely check it out. Great stuff. Omenology. Alright, continuing on, we have one more album to talk about in this collection, music, talk about video, whatever you want to call it. We're really switching gears here, but I'm sure you've noticed in the past several months or year or so that I've really just kind of decided to include anything that really sort of falls underneath that post-industrial umbrella, and then things that don't even fall underneath that, just basically anything that's not heavy metal. I'm probably going to talk about this channel. So yeah, really switching gears here, we're going to talk about the album Utopia by a band known as Spectres. So Spectres is a Canadian-based post-punk gothic rock band, which I randomly came across back in 2021, and I instantly fell in love with this album. I guess as it goes with a lot of post-punk and gothic music, there is an unbelievable amount of just catchiness with these songs. In particular, the song Strange Weather was the one that really attracted me the most, the one you can hear in the background, actually. The song Vertigo, and then 16 Years is a good song, too. I mean, the whole album is really great, and this is just, at least as far as I'm concerned, just through and through, just classic post-punk gothic rock kind of stuff. I love it. I think it's fantastic. Now, I know, considering I've been, and I was for a couple of years, streaming this album over and over and over again, then I was just like, why don't I buy this? yeah, so I finally got around to buying it. Or actually, no, that's not true. My wife gave it to me as a gift. Yeah, that's what it was. Anyway, it's a great fucking album. Just great classic post-punk gothic rock stuff. Canadian-based band. It's released on Artifact Records, I guess. Is that what it is? I guess so. Well, I'm not familiar with the label at any rate, but great stuff. I mean, I love this. I mean, I don't know who to really compare it to, I guess, but just look it up. It's fucking great. You know, I mean, okay, well, maybe it's not, I can compare it to a few bands. Maybe it's similar to something like Joy Division, but I don't know. I mean, Joy Division had a very unique sound, of course, and this has a very special sound, too. The vocals are perhaps a bit different than the average post-punk band. I don't know. But I just find the whole thing to be really catchy and just really great. And now that I have this in my collection, I definitely want to get more from this band. I've certainly listened to the other recordings, but so far this is kind of proven to be just the one that just really stood out the most amongst their albums so far. Great fucking album. So yeah, that's Utopia from Spectres. So yeah, thank you once again for joining me on the Inner Sanctum on the Noctilucant channel. I hope you have enjoyed this. I hope maybe possibly these reviews weren't terrible and you will now go check these albums out, or if nothing else, they will inspire you to listen to something similar today or in the future, or whatever. Yeah. So thanks. My name is Joe. I'll see you next time. This is the Inner Sanctum, and have a great day. All right, bye.